Thank you for joining CU Bands and Fans podcast. Our podcast is brought to you by Homegrown KIO. Homegrown KIO is on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. It is a stellar show featuring the great songs that have come from bands originating in Champaign-Urbana. Listen at 107.9 on your FM dial, at 1079wkio.com, or ask Alexa to play WKIO. Welcome to CU Bands and Fans podcast, where musicians tell their story. I'm here with my co-host, Zach Widdop. How are you doing, Zach?
Pretty good. You might notice, if you can see this, I'm wearing a Mudheads shirt, which is one of Bruiser's past bands.
Yeah.
First band in town.
Yeah. So our guest is Bruiser, and Bruiser has, he is a retired English teacher. I'll say that.
Yes.
And so we'll get to talk about a little bit of that and his bands that he has played in, and is the Impalas, Mudhens, and Bruiser and the Virtues is the current one. Is that correct?
Yeah, the Impalas are still playing. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Impalas are okay, fantastic. You studied at the Illinois Champaign U of I.
Yes.
And are you from are you from Champaign?
No, I was born in Quincy and I moved here in 1985.
Oh, wow. So you moved here to go to the U of I? Or
I moved here because my brother Scott Porcelain was here, and I had my first teaching job in St. Genevieve, and there was no girls and there was no music. So I'm like, I'm moving to Champaign. And I didn't have a job, and I just came here, and and then around the same time, my best buddy Kevin DeForest, his wife was coming to school here for grad school to her PhD, and I was like, "You're kidding me? You're moving there too?" And then I'm like, "We're starting a band," and that's when we started the Mudhens. So,
oh my gosh! And so the Mudhens were what? What kind of music? What and where did you play at?
We played we played at Mabels a lot, and we played at the Alley Cat when the Alley Cat was open. It's a blues band, and kind of back when there was a resurgence of blues. I think we were doing a lot of Fabulous Thunderbirds stuff and a lot of stuff that I wrote, and it was big fun playing
Awesome.
at Mabels. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah, Mabels and the Alley Cat, both classic historic places. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Zach, did you get to see the Mudhens?
Oh yeah, I've seen them.
Where did you see them at? Do you remember?
Mabels, I think. Mabels mostly.
Oh my gosh, how old were you, Zach?
Oh gee, I don't remember. 30 something.
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh.
We used to play Nature's Table too, and I thought, we can't play there. We're not going to make it. We made more money there than we did at Mabels because they were honest. It's like they'd give us the money. Here's what you made, and like, oh wow. It's like,
I've heard a lot of good things about Nature's Table.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We had Sean Kutzko on a podcast, and Sean recorded a lot of the things at Mabels and Nature's Table, and he's got this library of all this music and everything, so which is really fantastic to have that history recorded. That's brilliant. So how long did the Mudhens last?
I moved here in 85, and then a couple years, I guess. My brother was finishing school, and then right around the time that he graduated and he left, and then our drummer Tom T-Bone Miller left, and then we kind of retooled and reformed with Ricky Cummings playing drums and Doc LaCourse playing harmonica, and
Oh, wow.
Andre Masadi playing bass, and Kevin still sang for a while, and then he left, and then we kept going for a while.
Wow, you had some boom
yeah
players there.
Yeah.
So that dissolves.
Yeah.
And then you pick up with which one? The Impalas?
Yeah, I took a leave of absence from school. I was teaching at the high school, and I had a teacher who was really smart and kind. She goes, "Don't quit, just take a leave of absence." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know I could do that." So I did that, and I went down to Austin, Texas, and I lived in Austin for a year, and I played on 6th Street, for bars and stuff. And then when I moved back, because I realized all those musicians down there, they were great, but they had no health insurance. They had, and it was like, oh, really? Is this what I want to do?
I buy the seat of pants.
Yeah. And it was like, and I came back, and then I started the Impalas with Andre and Ricky and Ginger. We started that band.
And you played, the Impalas has played it, and it's still, still playing, right? The Impalas.
Well, Ginger left the band. Donna Nelson sang in the band for years, and then she left. Andre's no longer playing. My buddy Dan Henry, who did the CD with me, is playing bass in the Impalas now. And Peter Rubel, who plays sax in the Virtues and plays guitar in the Impalas, and he's great at both. It's like scary how good he is.
Wow. Yeah. And so, and you're currently doing Bruiser and the Virtues, and you play
and the Impalas, pretty much those two bands.
And those two bands play not like super frequently, but often enough that you're still, you're still in the game.
We're kind of down to like once a month at Huber's, which is kind of fine with me. Hanging out in the garage and listening to John Coltrane records for me is fine. I don't have to go out. I used to felt like I had to play like 4 or 5 times a month, and I just don't feel like that anymore. So
yeah, that happens. I mean, it really does. And we're finding more and more musicians and bands. That's what they're doing, or they're recording, or they're different facets of getting their music out there and still playing and all of that. They don't feel like they have to be out there all the time gigging. The newer bands do, because they're new and they're, they've got that zeal and the whole thing. But
and I used to go out like every night and check out live music, and storm the stage and sit in, and no, I just don't do it anymore. It's like, no, I'm going to stay home. So,
well, now I went to your Spotify, because you're on Spotify. You have a YouTube channel. Do you?
Oh, it's news to me. Really? Okay.
You have one, and I subscribed to it today. You don't have much on there, but
okay.
What is on YouTube is Underground Video has done a lot of video of you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did Kristen do some videos?
Kristen, there's a lot of them on Bruiser and the Virtues, the Impalas. You should go to YouTube and Google yourself.
I think I've seen some of those. We played at the Sweet Corn Festival for quite a few years, and there's video of that with the Virtues. So,
wasn't that great? Sweet Corn Festival.
Oh, it was awesome. I loved playing.
I missed that.
Me too.
So okay, so then that brings me to this, because I was listening to your music today on Spotify. Although you can get it, you have a amazing website.
Well, thank you. Garrett Ostradek, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing his name. He did that, and then Sammy Osterreich fixed it up.
Yes.
So because I'm a Luddite, I don't know how to do that. I just said, "Can you fix this?" And she did, and I'm like, "Oh, great!" So
Sammy's fantastic. She's done our banner. She's done she did our podcast promo poster. She's done quite a bit for us. She's my go-to for things like that.
And Eric Fromm did a lot of the photos. He would send me photos. I use those. He's fantastic too. So he is
tremendous. So we obviously love Eric. And then, but the website is www.bruisermusic.com. So that link will be attached to this podcast when it publishes. Great. And so let's talk about your music on Spotify. So I got it right here, I believe. Hang on one second. I was sharing some of your stuff today. let me find the search. Sorry. Let me see.
I don't even know if I should. I guess I should do more of that, because when I first, I thought I'd make a CD of this recent one, and I said, "Do I even people even buy CDs?" And my daughter said, "Well, the people who come to see you would probably buy one." I'm like, "Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I guess
the
that's a
people that come to
compliment."
see. Okay,
Yeah.
I know what she's really saying there.
Yeah, but I think the new CD, I need to do something to put it all on Spotify. And when I did the Javelinas with John Tubbs and the Virtues, he did a lot of that, put it on there. So there's some of that stuff that's on there that I'm
Yeah.
not aware of.
I believe it was actually Bandcamp that I was at.
There's that too.
Bandcamp.
That's yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and the good thing about Bandcamp is that you can purchase.
Yes.
You can purchase right from there, and I do love that.
Right.
But your latest CD is called 13. Hang
Yeah. Yeah.
on. So here it is, everybody.
And my daughter did the cover of that.
Oh, nice.
She's a budding art student, and I was like,
Yeah.
Come on, do
And
something. She goes, I don't do stuff like that. I've said, and Sammy did all of the other stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she did the back.
Back on the insides. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay. So unfortunately I don't have a CD player. I've got a cassette player in my car.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So I'm gonna order a CD player so I can listen to that. So I did go listen to it online. Because I was
Okay.
like,
Does your
"Shoot, I
computer
can't listen,"
have
but
a
I like
CD
having
player?
it. Huh?
Does your computer have a CD player?
Nope. It's
Oh.
Yeah, I got an old one that does, but I think some new ones don't even have.
Well,
They
Nope.
don't even have it. Yeah, it's like,
yeah, it's like becoming obsolete, and I really hate that.
yeah. I
'Cause
mean,
I like
I understand 8-track tapes being obsolete, but I don't get that CDs are. It's
CDs.
like,
Yeah.
when did
Yeah.
that happen?
But my band's really super old, and but it's in great
Ah.
shape, but it's really old. So I collect, like, if I can find a cassette tape, I'm getting it.
There.
But
There you go.
anyway, so this one has 13 songs on it,
Yes.
and I'm just gonna name a few of them. My Better 3/4, which I listened to that today. Is
About
this
my wife.
Yes. Karaoke?
Yeah.
What that is?
Yeah. It's a place we visited. My wife and I visited in Grenada many times. And
Oh,
those
wow.
songs are all over the place, and they didn't really fit with any band. And Dan said, let's record. And I'm like, okay. And so, and I knew that they don't really fit with the Impalas or the Virtues or anything. I just said, well, I'm going to record them, and he encouraged me and he helped me. So it was great. It was huge. I loved it.
The names of these are interesting. Cajun Girl, Guitar Widow. Let me guess what that's about.
Yeah.
I can just figure that one out. Friction Activated, Confession is Good for Your Soul, I Hate My Job.
Andre
Romance.
Masadi's.
I've heard that one.
That's a homage to Andre Masadi.
Yeah.
Romance Without Finance. Now I can relate to that.
I've heard that one too. Yeah.
There's an old Tiny Grimes tune with the same title, but it's totally different than my version, but so yeah.
Woman's Touch, Land's Ox. Okay, help me with that one.
Lanze Pine. It's a beach in Grenada. It roughly translates French prickly bay, because there's a bunch of cacti on the beach.
Oh.
And I just made it up. I thought, I'm going to write a love song for my wife, and it ended up being a murder ballad. So
Oh my God.
yeah, it's like, oh, there's that beach, and then they have a prison that overlooks the bay. It's not right there, and I'm like, as a songwriter, my brain started working. I'm like, oh no, this guy is in prison, and he looks down on the beach where he killed his wife, and so that's the way the song ended up coming out, but it was supposed to be a love song. So
well, songwriters, they take turns.
Yeah. You just sometimes, like they say, you got to serve the song, this is where it's going. So okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
We still got that thing. White Shirts and Whiskey. That's interesting.
That's
Uh,
Bob Rowe. That's a title that he suggested to Peter Rubel, who is Gloria's husband, and he's like, "We got to write a song together. Here's the title. It's about his experience of going to funerals in his southern town, And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So
wow.
we
Yes.
did that. So it's very offensive. So the song,
Yeah. That's interesting though.
yeah.
Don't drop your drawers in a soybean field.
Yeah, I put that on there because that's the first song I ever wrote. And honest to God, it just came to me. I was in a soybean field working in a summer job, and it just words and lyrics and the chords and everything. And I'm not particularly proud of it, but it's like, well, it is what it is,
But that was the first song that you wrote?
Yeah. It just, I came home and just, yeah, I was there, When they talk about muses and stuff, it's like, oh, I get it. I know what you're talking about. So,
yeah.
Because I didn't.
Is Garbage Man on there?
Yeah. Well, no, not on this one.
Not on that one? Oh.
Yeah, I wrote that for Sam, my son. Yeah. But,
well, I remember that song. I love that song.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, and I think that one is on Bandcamp.
Tip Top Tap. I did a CD. Yeah. Neil Robinson produced a CD that had Tip Top Tap and Garbage Man, his version of it, and then the version that I did on GarageBand with my son singing. So, which I'm partial to, But
would it be okay if I used that song Garbage Man in a documentary I'm doing?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I'll talk to you more about that.
Okay.
Yeah. That is fantastic. I forgot about that song. Thanks for bringing that up, Zach. So on this CD here, you have guitar, dobro, and vocals. Dan Henry bass, background vocals. You got Kenna Mae Reese on this.
Kenna sings on a couple songs. She sings harmony on a few, and then sings lead on We Still Got That Thing, and a duet on Friction Activated with me.
Yeah,
she was singing for a while with the Impalas after
Donna, it was Ginger, and then Donna, and then Kenna sang with us for a while. So
I think, did you guys play Pipas?
Yeah.
That's where that was it with Kenna.
Could be. I don't remember it all.
I'm pretty sure that was it.
I think so.
Yeah. I definitely played Pipas. So, and she might have been in the band at the time. I don't know.
Yeah, Pipas is currently one of the greatest places to play. Peter Rubel, rhythm guitar on Cajun Girl and Friction Activated. Lead on
Lonzepine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tenor saxophone, which you can really hear that saxophone.
Yeah.
And you can really, really hear it. I love it. Jenny Beckett.
He and Johnny are in the Virtues right now, and they played on Guitar Widow. They played that sax part. So it was great. They sounded terrific, and they're both fantastic musicians. So
yeah. But and then Johnny Beckett. I'm sorry. Yeah, Johnny Beckett, tenor saxophone. Neil Robinson keyboards on Guitar Widow.
It's the new world. I sent the track to him. He's in Colorado. I said, "Can you play on this?" And he did it. He put it on his computer and played, and then sent it back to me. And like, he originally played in the Virtues, and he played that song. He knew it, and I just, that's how it goes these days.
That is fantastic.
I know. I send it to him, and he sends it back, and it's like, wow, that's how you do it, I guess.
And so then, who recorded this?
Dan Henry. He has a studio in Monticello, and he's been super gracious. He's just like, come on out. And I just started playing acoustic guitar tracks and building stuff on it, and he recorded it all. So.
And when did you begin this? When did you begin recording this?
It's been a couple of years ago. I think it was a very slow process. I'd go out there once a week, and I'd do some stuff. And after a while, I was just like, this is it's as good as it's going to get. Let's finish it. I'm not getting any better. So let's put it to bed. And we
That's
did.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, but no,
But
I listened to it and I'm like, oh, that's I'm proud of it. It sounds good. I like it.
it sounds really good.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, thank you.
and the recording is top notch.
That's all Dan's doing. He has a great studio and great equipment, and he did all of that and all the drum tracks he created, and it was like, what? How do you do that?
So how did you feel when this was done? And and actually, your daughter's work is here and
yeah,
all of that, and you see it tangibly and all of how did you feel? How that
it was great. It took, like I said, it was about 2 years, and I felt really good. I really liked what my daughter Sylvie did for the cover, and I listened to the songs, and I'm like, this is good. I like it. It's a good final testament. I don't think I'm going to record after this, so it's like, well, I had all these songs and I never recorded them, and Dan was gracious enough to offer his studio, and so I did. So
see, that's great. I'm glad that you did that, because you've got 13 songs on here that that you'd been wanting to record, so kudos to you for getting it done.
Well, thank you. And kudos to Dan for being gracious enough to encourage me to do it. So
now he's in Monticello, you said?
Yes.
Does he have a studio name, or is it just
No, I'm sorry, Muhammad.
Okay.
Muhammad. I don't know, but he's
I'll find out.
kind of working on it. He's done some stuff with some other people, with Catfish and some other people, and he's kind of trying to get his studio going, I think.
Okay, is he the newest studio in Muhammad?
Dan, I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah,
it made me think of that. That other we had a podcast too, but that might be Monticello though. So I don't know. I'm not gonna say.
Catfish living now? Is he in Decatur or?
I think Decatur. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
So in all of your music years and history, what in the past, where was your favorite place to play and why?
Oh, I love playing at Mabels, because I remember coming here before I moved here, and I was like, wow, there's a stage and there's a PA and people. It's like,
and there's backstairs to love all our stuff.
It was like, what? And we used to play there with the Mud Hens, and there'd be 500-600 people there. It was like, wow. These days I love playing at Huber's because it's small and it's close and it's early. So I don't know, it's changed. I used to want to go, and we used to play in Springfield a lot, but now I don't know, I'm about to turn 66, so I'm kind of done with that. It's like,
so. And that happens, you start to just like different, like I said, different avenues of bringing your music, and like recording and stuff, and or just being out in your garage listening to music, or this that. I mean, that just happens. And I think some of it obviously has to do with age, and some of it has to do with, I think 2020 kind of burnt a little bit out of all of us and just made it more difficult to push yourself to get back out there but the live local music scene community here is revived and huge, and back and doing their thing, and we've got a lot of new bands, and a lot of older bands had kind of dissipated and changed and transformed, and so it's a whole different, it's different. It's not a bad.
I heard your podcast with Jay. Like, he has a new band, Jay Rosenstein. He's started again, and I'm like, oh, good for him. That's great. Because when I moved here, he was playing a Otis in the Elevators, and we were in the Mud Hens, and we used to play at Mabels on different nights. So
Otis and and they play him. They play you also on Homegrown KIO. They play both of you guys. Yeah, they played your music a couple of times.
Cool.
That's the cool thing about Homegrown KIO, is they play a lot of the history, live music in Champaign-Urbana and surrounding area.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot listening to that show. You know, Otis and the Elevators, I had not heard of them before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I really enjoy when they play their music, and then I bring them a lot of the current stuff. And so once in a while they'll do just current live local.
Oh,
So,
nice.
so it's really good. It's a good partnership, and I appreciate their sponsorship with this podcast, and you know, they obviously appreciate us. They give us a lot of shout outs and that kind of a thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
I remember the Freak Brothers pretty well.
Yeah,
I remember
I heard that podcast with Jay, and he didn't mention the Freak Brothers. I'm like, come on, we played at Chan Murray, we recorded it. That was one of the coolest bands I was ever in. It was Jay and Kevin
at
DeForest.
At the time, I think that was the only band I was familiar with that played "You Ain't Going Nowhere" by Bob Dylan.
Oh yeah, that probably was Kevin and Jay's influence. They're way into that folk stuff. I was into different, but that was what was neat about that band. It was like I'd bring in different stuff, and they'd bring in different stuff, and you know, Old and in the Way album.
What was the Freakness? What was that?
The Freak Brothers was myself and Jay Rosenstein and Kevin DeForest. It was a acoustic trio. Yeah, we played for I don't know, a year or so. And recorded at Channing Murray one time before I left for Austin. And Jay's a phenomenal songwriter. We did a lot of his songs, and it was really cool, you know.
Yeah, when he talked about his comeback, you know, he just decided to go, okay, I've got all this music, you know. He was just ready. He was just ready to get back out there for a while. But I think they're playing their last show. Is that correct, Zach?
Yeah. JT, John Tubbs is moving out of the area. They had a bass player, and he got too ill to perform, and so they got John, and now he's leaving the area. So I guess Jay decided just to wrap it up with that band, which is a shame. But
I played with John. He was the original bass player in the Virtues, and he did all the Javelina stuff. John Tubbs recorded all of that in his studio.
So what's some of the songs that Bruiser and the Virtues plays?
Well, we do our big hit is, I guess, I Don't Like You. It's a song that I wrote. We do that, and it's primarily original stuff, things that I wrote, you know. And so
I did not know that.
Yeah, and that's on that album. Is on Bandcamp, I think. John Tubbs recorded that at his studio, and the Javelinas, he recorded that as well. So okay, I'll have the link to the Bandcamp too, because that really is where all of your CDs and all of that. Yeah, I tried to Garrett, like I say, Garrett and Sammy helped me. So I thought, well, I need to have that all together. So if somebody wants to do it, and somebody bought a couple of Mudhens albums the other day, sent me, you know, I was like, oh wow. So
that's fantastic.
You know, it was kind of fun. And you get a little email saying, oh, thanks, you know, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's neat.
that is fantastic. That's why you do got to get this one up. And that's kind of what I thought. Will you have 13 at your shows?
Yes, I'm gonna bring it to I'm playing at the Riders in Around at the Rose Bowl on the 5th with Jay and Gloria, and a young man. I don't know him. Like I said, I don't get out that much. And then I'm playing at Huber's the following Friday, the November 10th, and I'll have the CDs there too. So that's the goal, to try to sell some CDs, and then hopefully on Bandcamp, and you know, get out there.
So we were talking before we started recording about kind of the song genre tags that you have, the style, Americana blues and jump blues. So we were trying to figure out what would be the difference between blues and jump blues. Now, in listening to some of this, I feel like jump blues is more of like swing.
Yeah.
Kind of more like swing music. There's more of a, you know, dun, 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 just an up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
West Coast kind of vibe,
Yeah.
opposed to
Yeah.
that's the way I understand it. It's more sax heavy than guitar heavy. Blues is mostly guitar heavy.
Yeah. And there are a couple of songs on here that are more sax heavy. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, the Guitar Widow is a song I used to do in the Virtues with Johnny and Peter play. So that's definitely jump blues. That
Yeah.
tune. So
And you're now, do you ever do anything just you outside of your band? Just
I don't like playing by myself. I prefer to play with other musicians. So I not I did a few things with John Tubbs with the Javelinas, the duo. And I used to sit in with Keith Harden when he was here in town playing at his gig at the embassy. But no, in general, I prefer to play with other musicians as opposed to myself.
yeah, I love Keith Harden.
Yeah.
I love Keith Harden. I love his music.
Yeah.
I will just randomly, oh yeah, Keith Harden, and I'll just listen, and oh my God, love
Yeah.
you've played with some really talented people.
Well, I was lucky. I've always felt like I played with people that were way better than I was. It's like, and I don't know, as Jimmy Vaughn said, I guess I didn't know that I couldn't do that. So I just did it, or I'd ask people, and I was too stupid not to, I don't know. Hey, you want to play in a band with me? So, and they said, yeah.
That's perfect. That is so perfect. And you're being very humble about it, because obviously you are extremely talented and the same caliber as those that you play with, and sometimes
thank you.
Sometimes more so. But we love all of your bands. Obviously, Zach has heard all of your bands since he's wearing the t-shirt from back when. And then I was going to ask you one more thing, and then we'll kind of wrap this up.
Okay.
Where did you gain your interest in music, or to even want to play in a band?
I went to Quincy College, and I guess when I was living in a dorm, and there's a bunch of guitar players and people, and you just walk down the hall and you hear people playing. And I thought, oh, my mom got me some guitar lessons out of the blue, and I played a couple weeks, I think, and quit. And then I brought it back up because it was getting cold and I couldn't run and I couldn't go outside. And then I just started meeting people that were better than me. I'm like, wow, listen to that. And then I started playing. I played in a band in Quincy, and then ever since then I just did. So
yeah, that's really cool. That's a very cool story.
Thanks.
I mean, like, you're just
I'm full of
surrounded.
them.
Yeah. And then what about teaching? What did you enjoy that? How long were you a teacher?
I did 35 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I did 32 at the Urbana Middle School. I taught in Texas for a year, and I taught in St. Genevieve for a year, and I taught at the high school for a year. But most of my time was at Urbana Middle School. Moved here, and
wow,
yeah, that's what paid the bills. I was always able to play what I wanted to play because my teaching paid the bills. I didn't have to worry about playing songs that were popular, would get us hired. I was like, no, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, you didn't have to have that.
No, and it was nice. And I respect and I understand people that have to do that. I get it, but it's I never did. So
Brandon T. Washington is a teacher too.
Yeah. He did a long-term sub for my class when my daughter was born. He was like in my room for like 3-4 months. So
cool.
Teaching. Yeah.
See, everybody's so connected.
Yeah, it is very it's very incestuous scene here.
Yeah.
We all know each other. So.
That is so true.
Yeah, in a good way.
Yeah, in the best way possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I'm glad that you were able to do that, and then also do it allowed you to do your music and not feel so much pressure about having to be and that, and obviously now you don't feel that pressure of we've got to be out there 3 or 4 times a week. And to be honest with you, you mentioned earlier shows at Huber's, which are what hours when you play at Huber's?
Now it's like 7 to 10.
It's 7 to 10. It used to be 8 to 11.
8 to 11, yeah, which I thought was great. And now it's 7 to 10. It's even better. It's like, wow.
Yeah, because actually the live music, the people that go to live music mostly, and the people that buy the drinks and dance are our age.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That's why the live local music scene is an earlier, they want the earlier times.
Yeah.
And you do get quite a few people our age that have a blast. They like to go, but they want to be home they don't want to be out at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
They don't want to start to go out at 9 p.m.
Yeah. I remember starting at like 9:30, and it's like, the thought of that now, it's like, oh my gosh.
No.
It's crazy.
I don't know how these bands in Peoria do it. I put together these event lists, and I've noticed that a lot of the bands in Peoria, they don't even start till 10 p.m.
Yeah. Play 10 to 2 is like, oh geez, that's
well, there is Ancient Ways is a younger band, and they do originals, and it's rock, and it's so good, and they generate and basically an all age. They really do generate an all age audience.
Nice.
They go to Peoria, I think, and other places, and play, till 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
They're geared that way. They are younger, but the majority of people in Champaign-Urbana and surrounding areas are, we've got statistics on our page that I check randomly once in a while, and how many percent is women, how many percent is men, and the age. And it's from the age of people that are interested and go to live music and shows are 35 to 70.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
I'm playing the right kind of music then.
yes, you are. And that's the other thing is they want to go to, and they want to feel safe and comfortable too.
Yeah.
When they're in a venue, they want to feel good about where they're at. But they do. I did make a post. I was like, listen, if you musicians, you better be treating this generation with respect, because honestly, they're the ones going out. They're the ones listening to you. They're the ones buying dinner. They're the ones buying drinks, and they're the ones dancing. Right. So why you're trying to generate this 19, 20-year-old crowd that's not going to bring you that kind of support, and
they're home looking at their iPhone, listening to Taylor Swift songs,
or they're at a sports, or they're at a sports bar, and but that being said, there's been some open mics lately. We have one here at Daly's. There's one in at Winston's in Sydney, and you ought to check into that Winston's at Sydney for the Impalas. That'd be a great place. But anyway, and these young, some of them are still students, young musicians are showing up, a bunch of them.
Oh, good.
And they're playing acoustic, they're playing electric, and they're singing, and some of them got their own music, and it's exciting.
Yeah. Good for
That's
them.
exciting, because that's our future in live music in Champaign-Urbana. So it's good to see that that's starting to pick up, and these young people are showing up and playing their music, and they love it.
Absolutely.
It brings kind of that excitement back.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you go and watch them. So
all right.
But that being said, yes, where the age group is mostly us and our age, and they're the ones that are gonna go out and listen.
Okay.
and they have a blast. So
it's interesting. Back in the 70s, there were so many bands on campus, and mostly students, and now the only the only venue that does much for students is the Canopy Club.
Oh, is
Mhm.
that yeah.
Yeah, there aren't any other ones left.
I used to go to Mabel's, like they had music 7 nights a week.
All the
Yeah, I
time.
was there a
5
lot
nights a
too.
week, it
Me
was
too.
free. It was like I just go down there because oh, who's playing? Or it's a
Yeah.
rockabilly band or it's a this, it's like and I think that's changed. I don't think
Yeah.
people
It has.
seek
It
their
has.
entertainment that way anymore. So
Yeah. Zach, who was it we had on the podcast that said, was that Dave Rush that
Yeah.
said they put the windows out of Mabel's?
Yes.
That story, oh my God.
Mabel's is a story in itself.
It is.
I had some friends in a band who played at Mabel's every once in a while back in the early 80s, and they were playing one night and the power went out. It was pitch black in the place. And the guy who was playing drums didn't miss a beat. He played a drum solo in total darkness for 15 minutes before they got the power back on.
Nice.
That's
we,
fantastic.
We backed up we opened for Johnny Winter and opened for the Fabulous Thunderbirds, and we backed up Bo Diddley at Mabel's. So we were his band. So it was that place has a special place in my heart. I was like, wow.
That's crazy.
I know. Yeah, Bo Diddley wouldn't tour with a band because he didn't want to pay them. He'd get to a town and they asked us, would you guys like to back them up? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Of course, So that's another story I could tell you. That's about a 40-minute story, but that was interesting.
And Johnny Winter?
Yeah, we opened for I think we opened for Johnny and Edgar different times. And then the Fabulous Thunderbirds, and yeah, it's been interesting ride for me. So
well, we should open with that story.
Yeah, well, the Bo Diddley story is pretty interesting.
Well, give us we got a little bit we got a few minutes. Give us just a brief. Yeah.
Well, the thing I remember the most is that it was when it was like the You Don't Know Bo, the ads were out and he was like really big. And we were doing all this homework, listening to all these songs. He came up and he did a rehearsal. The rehearsal was like after he got interviewed by the News Gazette. And then he'd play about 10, 15 seconds, goes, you got this. And then he'd play another one about 10, 15 seconds. You got that. And then he walked away. He goes, we got this monkey all tied up. And he came out and he did none of them. He did nothing in the same key, or it was like, what? He just made it up. And he also did 2 shows. He said, how's the show? How's the sales going? The guy goes, we're sold out. He goes, we're doing 2 shows then. I'm like, what? And he did that too. It's like, yeah, he was, it was interesting. Yeah.
That is, do you have any photos of any of that?
Yeah. I got a picture of us playing with Bo. So and Ricky's playing drums and me and Bo, this picture of us. Yeah. So Doc played and Catfish showed up for the second show and we had him come up and sit in. So it's like, hey, I got another amp. You want to play? He's like, okay. So I don't know. It's like, I don't know if you could do that stuff anymore. It's like,
no, but what a great memory.
Yeah. It was
that's the whole, that's the whole thing with live music. It's like, that is fantastic. That's why we have this podcast, for stories like that. And
all right.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on our podcast.
Thank you.
If you can get a picture of that picture, if you have it on print and not digital, if you can get a picture of it and send it to me,
it's hanging in my den. Or you want a picture of the picture, or
if you can send it to me digitally.
Yeah, I think it's in my. Again, I'm a Luddite when it comes to technology.
Have your wife do it. Yeah,
I think it's in there. I think it's in my promo pictures file. So I'll look.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because I would like to put that on with this, as well as all of the links to your music and all of that will be on here. And we will. We're going to be at the You said November, November 7th?
November 5th, I'm playing at Riders at the Round with Gloria.
Yeah, that's Sunday, right?
Yeah, I think it's a Sunday, 7 to 9. Yeah. And then I'm playing at Huber's on the 10th with the Palace.
Okay, great. I can be there November 5th, Rosebowl. Yeah, we're going to be there. Are you going, Zach?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then when did you say Huber's? I'm sorry.
Huber's is November 10th.
The 12th?
10th, I think it's a Friday.
10th.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, that would be right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 10th.
And that's like 7 to 10, I think. Huber's.
Okay,
now.
perfect.
So.
Yeah. And people get up and dance it right now.
Yeah.
You know,
and listen to
space.
the music. It's like, what the
Yeah.
heck? You know?
Yeah. Don't let that stop them.
Yeah.
Okay, well, fantastic. It's been awesome having you on here. And we will
Thank
definitely
you.
have all the links. And thank you, Bruiser.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty.